Hello dear students, welcome to the online class for the students of BA Part 1st subject English Literature. In this video we are going to study the remaining part of this poem, that is third quatrain and the last couplet. As you know students that in the last video we have studied first quatrain and second quatrain. Now let's come to the third quatrain, and this third quatrain start with the lines, but thy eternal summer shall not fade, nor lose possession of that fair thou owest. Now, nor shall death break thou wanderest in his shade, when in eternal lines to time thou growest. As you know that these lines are from the poem William Shakespeare's sonnet Shall I Compare Thee, and in this poem the poet addresses his friend Mr. W.S. and compares his beauty to natural objects. Now here in these lines, thy eternal summer means your everlasting beauty. In this quatrain he is directly addressing his friend and he is saying thy eternal summer means your everlasting beauty. Ost means own or possess. In eternal lines, the last line of this quatrain, when in eternal lines means in the undying lines of the poet's words, perhaps with a reference to progeny and lines of descent, but it seems that the procreation theme has already been abandoned. To time thou growest means you keep pace with time, you grow as time grows. So in these lines, the poet claims that the beauty of his friend is everlasting. So in the line number 9, he is saying that thy eternal summer shall not fade. He is saying to his friend, he is addressing to his friend that your eternal beauty will not fade, nor lose possession of that fair thou owest. And the beauty that you possess, you will never lose possession on your beauty, nor shall death break thou wanderest in his shade. And he is saying that death can't wither your beauty when in eternal lines to time thou growest. And he is saying that these conditions will come in effect when from my verse line you will grow it. Means you will, whenever you will be read in by the audience, whenever you will be read by the reader of my poems, you will keep pace with time and you grow as time grows. So he is saying that unlike to other things, it is not a matter of decay, and even the most dangerous thing cannot affect it. The most dangerous thing is the death. The poet asserts that the beauty of his friend is so permanent that even the death cannot wither it away. It is generally assumed that death is omnipotent, means that his death is universal, and everything in the universe is disposed by the death. But the poet is so much confident that his friend's beauty will remain unchanged. The poet convinces the readers that his words will keep his friend's beauty everlasting. So fair from fair again in these lines is an example of alliteration, and these lines show poets' deep faith in poetry. The last two lines of this sonnet is called couplet, and its rhyming scheme is GG. So long, the two lines are so long as man can breathe or eyes can see, so long live this, and this gives life to thee. Here the poet is saying that the meaning of the lines is, for as long as humans live and breathe upon the universe, upon the earth, For as long as there are seeing eyes on the earth, means for as long the time the human will exist on this earth, so long lives this, means so long these verses will live, and this gives life to thee, means this these verses written by me will celebrate you and continually renewing your life. So in these lines the poet wants to say that as long as on the earth there exists a human race, for that time, till that time, your beauty will remain forever. And as long as men live on the earth and read my verses, the reading of my verses will give life to your beauty forever. So that's why he is saying that the beauty of his friend will remain forever, never ever it will be faded by the chance or by the nature's changing course. So we can say that in this poem William Shakespeare, who is a legendary dramatist, is celebrating the beauty of his friend Mr. W.H. And whereas when we talk about the language of this poem, the language is very sophisticated, and description of his beloved friend has shown his joy being deeply in love with his friend. Although we can say that there is somewhat use of hyperbole, also refer to the longevity of this poem. But this sonnet truly has elapsed through so many generations, and his promise for the endless beauty has come true. The imagery that is used in this poem has expressed entirely the subject matter and the theme of this romantic sonnet. The theme of this sonnet is the power of the speaker's poem to defy time and last forever, carrying the beauty of the beloved down to future generations. So here our poem finishes, and in this poem the poet has used hyperbole, repetition, and also personification. That's all about today, students. Thank you all.